Alright, so this is the class number 11 and we'll be recording from the computer today. This is the 9th of September 2019. So we will pick up from the last time that I left off with you with this problem. It is available on the PDF that I uploaded in the last class. So I wrote up a structure that it is actually just a beam. So the transformation will not be needed for now. You can assemble the element stiffness matrix that you obtain just right away without any coordinate transformation. That will just help simplify the issue we have, and we can focus most of our effort on the assembly of the matrix, the construction of the matrix, and also those boundary conditions that we just learned in the last time. I put quite so many things in here, and we actually going to have a lot of fun in this problem. So I think it will envision you quite a whole complete picture of the analysis. So here I put the problem on the first sheet, and we'll be working on the solution. We'll be constructing all matrices and enforcing all conditions over the other sheets. So I will start. So basically I just construct this ahead of time. First of all, I think we can use this row and column elimination for the first solution. I'll be doing 3 different solutions, all right, and by using the different techniques to enforce the boundary condition. So the first one I will do row, all right. So basically if we come back here, we have element number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. We have 5 elements. So let's construct the stiffness for all these 5. And you'll be seeing here element number 1, this is 12 EI over L cubed, 6 EI L squared minus 12. Okay, so I'll be just copying of this down for 5 times. Now, element number 1. Element number 1, we are dealing with U1, U2, U3, U4. So, U1, sorry. U2, U3, U4. So this is corresponding to equation for F1, F2, F3, F4. Let's see, element number 1. In total, we have 14 degree of freedom. U5 and U7 might be grouped, and that depends. I can just do both. So I will show you how to handle the degree of freedom and how you can set it up and treat it. Number 2, element number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So So this is quite linear, quite simple. U6. I think I can zoom in. All right. F5, F6. So what you see on that screen is actually the whole picture, but when you look at this in the video recording, you'll be seeing the zoom in the green area. Quite an interesting feature. Element number 3, which is this one here. This one here, we have the degree of freedom 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. Basically, the number 5 and number 7 move together, so we can just make it we can just simplify it by discarding the U7. You can keep it, but you'll be using some sort of technique like well, in Lagrange multiplier, you'll be able to enforce these 2 degree of freedom. But now, as we use the just row column elimination, we be just cutting the U7 out, and since U5 and U7 are identical, it is the hinge condition. Hinge condition doesn't allow the moment. I mean, you have the free rotation on the left and on the right side, but the deflection has to be identical for U5 and U7. So it doesn't really, we don't really have to keep the U7 in here. So I make it U5, U8, U9, U10, U5, U8, U9, and U10. Again, F5, F8, F9, and F10. Look at the next element, number 4. Number 4 is this one here, between node number 4 and node number 5. Number 4 links to the U9, U10, 11, 12. So just that, 9, 10. I guess I can just do the copying. Okay, that works. F9. And last one, 11 to 14. All right, so now we have all degree of freedom set up. Let us take a look a bit at the EI thing. The first one, 1 EI and 6 L. So EI scale by 1, L scale by 6, just that. Number 2, EI scale by 1, length scale by 4. So that is 1 and 4. Number 3 is 2 EI and 5 L. So 2 EI and 5 LZ. Number 4. Number 4, 2 EI and 5 L as well. 5 L. And number 5 is 2 EI and 6 L. So 2 and 6. Alright. Now, we will be just add the row and columns to this matrix such that it is equal to 13 by 13 to plug it in just to make our life easy. So first of all, we have F1, 2, 3, 4. I think I need to just insert a little bit. 5, 6. We don't have 7, right? We just clear out the 7. So F8 14. Okay. 1 2 3 4 5 6 U8 and 2 14. So again, okay, 0 elsewhere, just non-zero around here. Done. Next 4 5 6 4 5 6. Then I have 6 to 14, put them all here, and oh, this is just 13, right? I need 14. Okay, so 8 to 14. Then done. Just this area. So basically this element has no contribution in the other area. Actually, if you want, you don't really have to put in a 0. It is just the waste of your time. But I just put it there just to make it clear to you. Later on I will not put them in. Okay. Right, 0 contribution at the other degree of freedoms. Over here, what is it? U5. So we need 4 rows ahead, and likewise 4 columns ahead too. U5, and then wait, we will fix the U6. Okay, this is U5. Actually we have U6, right? Insert. So you have nothing to do in here, and likewise insert. This is F6. 7. We don't have the number 7. We have number 8, 9, 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that looks good. 14. Okay, perfect. So here is your contribution in the global one. Alright. Actually doing this gonna make it much easier for you when you use Microsoft Excel to assemble the stiffness, global stiffness matrix, the system stiffness matrix. Easier than plugging all things in to the place. Now F9, before F9 we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows, insert. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. No? Oh, yes. Insert again. There you go. U9. Yes, you have U8, but you don't have U7, so I'm gonna fix it. And then and 7 again. If we don't have it, we have just 6. Done. Square it out. 14. We need it up to 14. Alright, done. Right, 9, 10, 11, 12. So basically, you can see that things can be done quite easily in Microsoft Excel for just the beam. 9 columns for just the beam. 9. Okay, insert. How many columns now? Is there any counting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. Yes. 8, 7. Fix the 7 a bit, and to 1. 7, 6, and to 1. All right, done to 14. So I will not put. Let's just put it in. Easy to see. You don't want me to stand on your back when you work on Microsoft Excel, because I'll be just annoyed seeing sometimes very inefficient work procedures that many things can be done very quickly if I do it. And then if I watch you do that, I feel like frustrated. Why don't you just use this key? Why don't you just use this key? So I try not to stand on the back when someone work on Excel. I'm not that a pro, but if I see someone doing something less pro than I do, I feel like frustrated. Okay, so all of this will lead us to the system stiffness matrix. I'll be clearing out all things down here, no fill and divide. So to assemble the global stiffness matrix, it is just this one add up with this one, add up with this one, add up with this one, and this one. We assemble the matrix by add all entries at the same coordinates, right? Same row, same column. We add all them up. You get this. And then we conduct the same operation. Done. So the system stiffness matrix right now is constructed. Done. Just this way. If you don't want to make things like this, you can just keep this yellow zone. You don't need to add things. This is just a tips for Excel, make your Excel life easy. But the thing is that you need to bring like U11 and then you add it up here, right? This use the minimal. This makes the minimal use of the brains already. I think if you want to do it in Excel. But if you want to do it the other way around, you go to like from the very first one, you take this, go to U1F1, okay. Take this and then bring into the system stiffness matrix. You have 16 things to do, and then next one, okay, you bring this one and add into the existing entries you had from the previous step, okay, and add this and this, add this. So there are quite many operations to do, but if you just stuff everything in and then make the structure of your element stiffness matrix, make this include all the other degree of freedoms that are not relevant in this matrix here. All right, so we have the structure of the matrix, the coordinate of each entries to be the same as other matrices you construct for other members, and then the final product, you sum of them up. It is quite easy to do, right? Then let's take a look as we are using the row and column elimination. What's gonna happen? First of all, we have many things to treat. First of all, U1, U2 has to go. So let me mark them in red that they'll be gone first. U3 has to go. 3, 9, 11, right? 3, 9, 11. Red, okay, so read them up. That makes this gang right. So okay. Basically the black number will be there, will still be there, right? The red will be all gone. So 1, 2, 3, 9, 11 are all gone. Let's put the spring in there. This spring, we have the KT at the number 13 being 40 EI over LQ. So what, number 13, right? 40 EI over LQ. Then you need to add the 40. At this point, it is scaled. All the things are scaled by EI over L square or EI over L cube or EI over L. So we just drop this in the 40 that we have from the spring. So if you compare with the original stiffness, which is contributed by the members, this spring is quite stiff. It is about 400 times of the original stiffness. Maybe it is more or less like a support, but not that stiff. If you intend to make this like a support by the penalty method, and it should be about 1,000,000 times of the original stiffness. But this is about 400 times, so it behaves more or less like a support, but not a stiff support. It is a deformable support. The last one the last one is this rotational spring. But this rotational spring connects between the degree of freedom number 6 and degree of freedom number 8. So we will construct the stiffness matrix for this one. Right. Which is basically it is gonna be pretty much like a truss. So stiffness matrix of the rotational spring, I think I should add rows over here. The stiffness matrix of a rotational spring which connects but you 6 and you 8. So this spring actually works like one structural element. How to come up with the spring the stiffness matrix of the spring? Like before, I cannot put the writing. Maybe I can, because the recording is on the Microsoft Excel, so if I write things on the board, then you will not see it in the video. So let me see. Alright, I can draw the shapes and this one and another of this one and perfect circle over here, and then where is it? Shapes. Okay, as good as it gets. So you have U6 over here and U8 over there. Now you can derive the stiffness matrix of this spring. Well, if it is just a rotational spring that is attached to the fixed support on one side and another side attached to your structure, it will be just one number. So you have just the K rotations and you plug it into your stiffness matrix. That's all. But the thing is that now your spring, rotational spring, is deformable on two ends. Alright? So that means both degree of freedom are contributing to your springs. Here, if you have U6, you're gonna have F6. F6 is the moment quantity, but I don't want to write it down as a M6 F8. So F6 and F8, U6 and U8. So if you apply a rotation U6 over here, let me see if I have. I think I have. All right. Okay. So if I apply, this is clockwise. Let me put the counterclockwise one. we apply positive rotation U6 here. That means you are going to need the force F6 equals to U6 multiplied by the K rotation. Okay. I will put one there first, and the thing will be scaled by the KR, right? And if you keep this side fixed, I mean restrain it against the rotation, the force you need to maintain the system in equilibrium will be this one, right? So you apply rotation U6 into this direction, you need to apply F6 into this direction. That means you need F8 to go this direction. In order to counterbalance the applied moment, F6 will be identical to F8 will be identical to F6, but in the opposite direction. So here -1. This is the contribution by U6, the application of U6 only, right? Same concept. We work on everything in this framework. Now let's forget about that. Now you want to apply the rotation U8. So this will rotate along the U8 direction. So if you apply U8, then F8 will be equal to 1 times KR times U8. Having this N fixed against any rotation, you'll be requiring the moment to counterbalance with that in the opposite direction, just like this. So that makes a -1. Alright, this is the contribution from the application of U8. So you have two cases. Case number 1, apply U6. Case number 2, apply U8. And then you superimpose two cases. Then you have both effects from U6 and U8 simultaneously. And then you can find the equilibrium equation as a result of the application of both rotations on both ends. Now, again, we will just add how many rows? 14 rows. Insert. Yeah, wow. Sorry. And I'll be just taking this frame from here. Wait 1 second, I need more space. Okay, that should be enough. I'll clean it, delete and 0 it up. Alright. Delete. Okay. So, what is the rotational stiffness 10 EI/L? Basically, then you will just put that 10 in. Right, so it is 10 minus 10, 10, and minus 10. Just that. U6 and F6 in like this, minus 10, minus 10, and 10. Okay, easy to see. And then I just add this in over here. Basically, if we do it this way, then we just include more frames in here. So we add up with this, and then we copy it. Now we need to come back to that 40 again. All right. Plus 40. Up. Why? Oh, okay. I got it. So I turn things black in here. I'll make it like this, maybe easier to see. Yeah, too easy. Red. So how many degree of freedom are still there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 degree of freedom. 1 rotation, 2, which is the displacement, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. Alright. Then we can apply force now. So let's take a look at the force vector together. The thing that I'm going to construct over here will be the fixed end reaction. I put the 0 there first. Okay, and I'll share this to other, because all of them have, you don't have this for, okay, and then here. So fixed end reaction. Put it there. So let's first take a look at this one. The 2EI over L cube apply over the span of 6L. Right? So we have WL over 2. W is 2EI over L cube multiplied by 6L. You get 12 EI over L square. Divide by 2, you get 6 EI over L square. So that is the degree of freedom number 1. EI over L square. And that is 6. And the direction is positive, right? The fixed end reaction for this applied distributed load has to be going up. Okay. How about the moment? The moment will be going in a counterclockwise direction. So we have WL square over 12. This multiplied by 6L square over 12. 6L square, you get 36L square. 36L square divided by 12, you get 3L square. 3L square multiplied by 2EI over L cube L square cancel out, you have just one L down there. 3 to 2, you get 6, right? 6 EI over L as a final product. 6 EI over L. And it is going to repeat like this. So 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't, oops. You don't have the and then okay. So the next one is also 6 and the last one is minus 6. Alright, done with the first fixed end reaction. Now let's take a look at the second one. Second one, you don't have anything applied on the span, so you have a perfect 0 over here. You don't have to do anything. The third one, 3 EI over L cube. So 3 EI over L cube, 3 multiplied by 5 divided by 2, WL over 2, right? So this multiplied by 5 divided by 2, so it is 7.5. What is that degree of freedom? It is associated with number 5. Number 5 is this one here. So 7.5, right? Number 5, and then for the fixed end moment, it is associated with degree of freedom number 8, because number 8 is for this member. You will not put the moment, fixed end moment, on the number 6. 6 is for another element, even though it looks like it is at the same point, but rotation of the member number 3 is number 8, U8. So okay, this is 5, right? Then you got to come here again at the number 8, right? Number 8 is equals to 3 times 5 WL square, right? Over 12. The EI thing is on the right hand side already. 6.25. And then what is the next degree of freedom? Number 9 and number 10. Number 9 will be equal to that one, and number 10 is equals to the minus of this one. Oops, sorry, wrong one. Okay, let me copy this first so we don't waste time, and zero all of them. Okay, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, and put it there. Element number 3 done. And let's move over to element number 4. We have span length 5. Okay, again involving you 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, no jump. 9, 10, 11, 12. You have the 7.5 and 6.25 and 7.5 and minus 6.25. Last span is 6, so this is equals to the 3 multiplied by 6 divided by 2. WL over 2 turns out to be the 9. For the moment, 3 multiplied by 6 square over 12, 9 as well. and that's it. So for the total for the system, then you need to assemble the fixed end reaction. That is equals to the first guy add up with from the second element and the third element and the fourth element and the fifth element, and that's all. So we can copy. Whoop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. This 0 is actually because this degree of freedom number 10 rotation here. On the left side, you have the same span as the right side and same magnitude, so the moment are balancing. So the fixed end reaction, you end up with the 0. What else do we need? We have all spring in there, we have stiffnesses in there, we have fixed end reactions in there already. Now we can copy this and paste it here. We paste the value and format, values and number formatting, values and source formatting. Yeah, just this. So 1, 2, 3, we don't keep them. Delete, shift cell to the left, and we delete the 9 and 11. The 9, delete, the 11, delete. Okay, so we have those which are relevant: 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. Great. 1, 2, 3 has to be gone. 1, 2, 3 gone. 9 and 11 delete, and 11 delete. Okay, so your stiffness matrix that you reduce the degree of freedom at the supports is right now in the size of, it doesn't report the size, huh? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 by 8. Fixed end reaction. Is there any applied forces or moment at the nodal point at the degree of freedom? No. We don't have the point force or point moment applied over here. So that means your left hand side, basically we will set up external force vector, center it there, and then you have the FER, center it there, equals to the part that is for that thing we have 0. Later on you will not need to write down, okay, external force equal this thing. It is just easy for you to see for the first time doing this business. Equal to stiffness matrix. Stiffness matrix should be here, and this is multiplied by EI. and then we have of this multiply by the degree of freedom 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, U4, U5, U6, U8, U10, U12, right? 11 is gone, 13 and U14. Basically, this line is associated with F4, F5, F6, F8, F10, F12, F13, F14. And maybe we shall just, oh, sorry. We shall just insert and push to the right. Okay. Okay. That looks good. This equals to all of this. The thing is that this side, you actually have the EI over L square, EI over L cube in there, right? So let's take a look at this together. Fixed end reaction start at F4. Okay, EI over L and then EI over L square. Basically, if you take the L out of here, that means the first one, 1 second, this is multiplied by U4 is the rotation, multiplied by L, and this has to multiply by L square. U6 is this, okay, and then U10 to what? U8, 10, 12 and 14. U10, U12 and U14, and for this, okay, right? I just took out the over L outside, so basically I have to do this first. The equation that is divided by the L square, I multiply through by L first, okay, before this. Okay. Let me just put it aside first. So basically, the entries over here, this is U4. U4 is a rotation. Okay. So this entry is EI over L. This entry is EI over L square, right? You have the different power of L in the denominator in the matrix. So first of all, we just make it equal through the equation. We have the list 8 listed equation over here. So this equation is over L square and this equation is over L square. So if we multiply by L through this line and this line, this will turns out to be, I copy and I show you the step by step. I keep it here then. So over L square turns out to be just over L just over L. Okay. Basically, I try to make this for you. EI over L cube, EI over L square, EI over L. Just to make it easy for you to visualize what is going to be done in here. I don't put the number in front of this EI. I just want to show you. So if you consider in just one stiffness matrix for just one member, okay, you have 4 equations. These 4 equilibrium equations combine the equilibrium of force and equilibrium of moment. Equilibrium of force, the unit is in EI over L square. The equilibrium of moment, the unit is EI over L. Okay. U1 is the displacement, it is in the length unit. U2 is dimensionless in the radian unit, it doesn't have the length scale. U3 has the length scale and U4 doesn't have a length scale, radian. Okay, so the way I adjust things inside the matrix such that life will be easy afterward is, first of all, among these 4 equations, just multiply through by L. So what happened? If I multiply through by L in the force equation, I have moment equation, right? Force multiplied by 1L, 1L throughout, I get the moment unit. Equation of force turns out to be in the moment unit. And that makes this one, as I multiply through, L cubed turns out to be L square turns out to be just L, L cubed turns out to be L square, and this is just L. This will be identical to the line number 3 because it is also the force equation, right? Now you can see that inside your matrix right now you have 2 different scale by EI over L square and scale by EI over L. Previously it was worse. It was worse because you have EI over L cubed, you have EI over L square and EI over L. You have 3 things. You cannot do the common factor out. You can do common factor out only with the EI, but the L you cannot. But now it is better. You have just 2 different power of L. So we will continue into the next step. So now you can see that the difference between the power of L occur over here. It is column wise. It is column wise because this column is multiplied with the length scale. U1 is in the length scale, it is the distance. And U3, right? Whereas the EI over L, these 2 columns are multiplied to the radian scale. So if I absorb the 1L in here, so that means I pull out 1 over L from this column and then put it here. So this is what going to happen. Right? So I pull out 1 over L, and then I stuff it with U1 and U3. So displacement turns out to be, right now, the unknown turns out to be in radian. Right? Because it is U1 over L. Length scale divided by the length scale, you get the radian. The whole piece is in radian. And what happened? You have EI over L scale to all entries in your matrix. So you can do the common factor out, you take the EI out, and you leave only just numbers in there. And then you can do the matrix transpose, inversion of matrix. You multiply everything, you don't have to worry because you now take out this common factor EI over L. The variable EI over L is out there. Okay, so exactly the same thing is applied over here, but over here we start with the number only. Okay, so you cannot see things very clearly, but I think with the explanation down here, you get what I try to do up here. So you can see these two are the force equation. Force equation was then multiplied through by L, so the denominator L squared turns out to be just 1 over L. Now you have all equations listed as moment equations. And you have moment equations inside. You need to carry out another operation, which is the cleaning up of the variables associated with the displacement. So U5 will turns out to be U5 over L, and U13 is going to be U13 over L. So across this array of unknown, you have the unit of radians. EI there turns out to be EI over L, right? We can take the common factor out like here. So inside this matrix, we leave only just numbers. Now, I move this somewhere on the side. So you can look at them later. Okay, so we can work on this a little bit more. Before we solve it, we combine this to this. Oops, sorry. I wasn't supposed to. Okay, minus of this one. Okay, get it is minus. Okay, all right. So minus, and okay, it's a plus. Okay. I just got confused. So okay, side change. This is the final product of the known side, left hand side. You can see that on this side you have EI over L. On that side you also have EI over L. So EI over L cancel out with EI over L. Right? You have EI over L on both sides, so I need to clear this. And I have just this one and this matrix. Okay, so finally we will solve over here. And then This is equals to MMULT, matrix multiplication of M inverse. We need to inverse this matrix, and then we multiply to these forces. You get this one. You get this. U5 over L is equals to this number. So U5 is equals to this multiplied by L. Likewise, multiply by L, and then you get just U13. Other quantities are in radian. So here's your solution. Now, U5 is quite huge, right? Because you don't have anything supporting this degree of freedom down here. Makes sense. Penalty. Done with row and column elimination. We will move next to penalty method. So I think we can just copy the whole page, because we will use the infrastructure we had over here. Up to this point here. So I will erase all this. I don't need to put this color in because none of this will be removed. Okay, now U1, U2, U3, U9, U11 will be taken care of by penalty spring. So we will select the penalty spring stiffness. As we look through, degree of freedom number 1 is the displacement, right? 0.06, rotation 0.6, 0.2, 1 something. 0.3, U6 is 11. Why is it 11? 11 because it has that spring. 11, 11. Okay. So maybe we put like 10 million, approximately 10 million for the penalty spring stiffness. So first of all, plus 10 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This could be a good number. For you to make it 100 million. Actually, 10 million or 100 million, even though they are different kind of degree of freedom, but that is going to work. U9, and so you can either, it is not that sensitive, and U11, which is here, it's 13, 14. Okay, so we enforce the boundary conditions. Now I think, can we change it to scientific or something? No. Just put the thick boldface here. This is the fixed end reactions. If you move fixed end reaction to the left hand side, then you just put the negative sign. You don't have apply degree of freedom, force and moment. So you can solve. That means we will have that operation that first of all we change from force equation to moment equation, equilibrium equation, by multiplying through this row, this row, this row, this row, this row, this row by L. So you have just EI over L, and internally for U1 will be U1 over L, U2 will be U. Okay, so let me just do it just for one time for you. Later on I will not have to go through all of this. Okay, and then the stiffness matrix, I'll copy and paste it here. Okay. Oh, one thing, in the exam, in the homework, if you print it out to the paper or to the PDF, and then if I see this thing in your work, I am not Microsoft Excel. I don't know what's in there. Alright, so if I take out your points, okay, some of your marks gone from this, it is because you leave something like this. If I cannot understand, sometimes if it is the solution, and in your solution you leave this sharp sign like that, so I cannot score you, and it could turn out to be the disaster. So please be careful when you print out. You check your output. Make sure that it is not left in the form like this. So out here, EI over L. This has EI over L as well. Here, that means we have what U? We have U1 up to U7. Make it U8, and then all the way down. So U1 is the displacement. You take the over L. U3 is the displacement. U5 is also the displacement. U9 is the displacement. 11 is the displacement, and U13 is also the displacement, right? So all of the displacement U, okay, were divided by L. So we be able to pull out the EI over L as the common factor out of the stiffness matrix, leaving only just the numbers in there, pure numbers in there. And again, we cancel out EI over L. So we will come up with the following solution. This is equal to this side, MMULT matrix multiplication of M inverse of what? Inverse of the stiffness matrix and multiply by the force vector, close the bracket. Okay, for now this is multiplied by L. You copy and paste and paste and paste and paste and paste. Okay, here U1 is a boundary condition, right? U3, U5, U9, U11, they are all boundary condition. Oh, no, wait, sorry, 5 is not, 9 is yes. So look at the boundary conditions, and this one too. U2 is also the boundary condition, essential boundary condition. These are all very small. If you compare to the other magnitudes, right? This is like about 1,000,000 times smaller than other degree of freedom which are not restrained. So basically it shows that the penalty methods, it works pretty much the same way as the support. You put a very stiff spring in there, then the deformation you come up with is about 1 in 1,000,000 times. Or if you increase the penalty spring stiffness from this one, you be ending up with even smaller, but 1,000,000 times different is just more than enough for the structural analysis point of view. And now we would like to at least take a glance to the solution we obtained from the row and column elimination before. So I will take this and put it there. Here. Okay. Let me. This U4. So I put it there side by side. U5, U6, U8, U10, 12, 13, 14. Right? This is solution. The same, right? You have the difference of around, if you want, take the absolute of this one minus this one, divide by this one, the absolute of the whole thing. In percentage, multiply by 100. Are you happy? Okay, so it is very close. Good enough. If you want to just run the calculation just quickly, if you are not the OCD people, then you can just use penalty method. It is good enough, accurate enough. you'll be having a load factor, you'll be having a strength reduction factor, which is on the different order of magnitude. That will cover you up. This discrepancy of 1 in a million level is nothing for you. Generally, you do many things which is more detrimental. Okay, so and if you increase the stiffness, for example, I put a little more, double zero in there, double zero in there, double zero in there. All right, you can see that it become closer, but you don't want to go too far from here. You don't want the instability in the calculation point of view. So keeping things around here, 10 to the minus 1 million times to 100 million times. Okay, that would be enough, and this is just ppm level, almost like a nano level discrepancy. I will wrap up the solution phase first. Once we're done with solution phase, we can come back and then compute all reaction forces. But for this here, if you want reaction force, how do? You get the displacement multiplied by the spring stiffness. It is as easy as that. Displacement multiplied by that big spring stiffness. Okay, so let me show. Reaction force. So I take this solution. Oops, sorry, wrong one. I take this solution multiply by the spring stiffness, which is this number. That's it. You get the reaction. Oh, sorry. Multiply to the wrong thing. Yeah. Because this is extremely small, whereas the stiffness is extremely large, then ends up you multiply them, you get the finite number, something like this. In fact, if you want to do like a quick check, this one is multiply by 40, right? The spring stiffness for the degree of freedom 13. Number 1, number 3, 1, 3, 9, 11, 13. 1, 3, 9, 11, 13. If I sum all of them, oops, basically this has to multiply by minus sign first in order to get that reaction. So the displacement is going down. All right, displacement is going down. The K is positive. The reaction is actually on the opposite side to the displacement. So reaction has to be the minus times that displacement multiplied by K. That's the reason why we have this minus sign. And wait a second, you'll be seeing the magic. Yeah? Okay, we get 60. This got to be 60 EI over L square, I think. So let's take a look. This is a summation of support force reaction. This is the vertical force reaction sum for a whole system. So let's sum it up. 2 to 12 you get 2 to 6 you get 12. All right, 12 for this one. 5, 6 is 16. 16 multiplied by 8 you get 48. 48 add up with 12 you get 60. You cannot get anything but 60 from here. If you do, you're in trouble, right? Always bless the equilibrium and always obey it, the law of equilibrium and mechanics. So far so good. It looks like we are on the good track. At least some quick check of equilibrium is okay to me, and I guess it is okay to you too. So this is solution by penalty method. Moment equation will be more difficult, right? Okay. Let's use this infrastructure again to make the Lagrange multiplier technique. So I will erase the system stiffness matrix. Okay, keep it there. Delete. If we are at 9:50, just remind me, because I don't want to run out of this room like like the last Monday. Lagrange multiplier. So we need to take a look a little bit. In fact, if you do not want to just group the degree of freedom, actually the way we work in Lagrange multiplier could be the same as a computer structural analysis program. In a case where, let's say in SAP, you want to put the hinge over here, right? But to do so, when you write the program, when you make the algorithm, if you say that I will cancel out, I will cut this off, the U7, and then just rearrange things, it is not easy to do that. So I just assign 2 degree of freedom. So displacement degree of freedom I assign like this, U5 and U7. And then I just say, I put additional equation saying that U5 and U7 has to be identical. I can find hinge force from this as well. It is easier to add in additional equation rather than cutting off that U7 and modify everything in the matrix. So let's see together how we do it that way. This matrix I will put the U7 back in, insert to the right, and welcome back U7. Likewise insert, and we have F7. So this guy is back. The same way, same thing happened. So just please bear with me. I will work on this quickly. U7 F7, nothing there and nothing is there. Insert in and insert there. I think we need to move around something here. Well, actually this is EIOL square, it has to be here. EIOL square there. Okay, EIOL square here. F7 U7. Now I think element number 3, previously we took care of it by having by cleaning out the U7 and then just use the U5 because it has to be the same. Now we will not do it that way, so we will just move out of this back in the place where it belongs to. Okay, so things change a little bit. It turns out to be this. Likewise for here, for this degree of freedom, we don't want to put it with your neighbor anymore. We have the freedom to leave it there. So F7 is bad. Next element has nothing to do with the 7, so we just do add the column and rows like before. So only special treatment is needed for that element number 3 only. Next one. Oh, by the way, I can successfully uploaded the video file on the YouTube, so you don't really have to download the video anymore, and it could be watched very easily. So I made it like a playlist, so you can just go through that. Done, right? Oh, not yet. Not a little more. Insert. Cannot believe that one day I have my YouTube channel and it is this kind of YouTube. Yeah. Oh, sorry. We need to reassemble the stiffness matrix. Clean it first. Again, clean it. Oh well. Insert. And this insert. F7 U7 EIOL square has to come down here. Make all of them in black font. Okay. and pre-dump with the 0, pre-dump 0. Okay, don't forget the 40 there. So now we assemble the stiffness matrix. It is this one add up with this one, add up with this one, add up with this and this and this, and that's it. And here plus 40. Don't forget your spring. That spring was taken care of already for the rotational spring, as we make it as one structural element there. Fixed end reaction also need to take care of it. This one add up, add up with this one, add up with this, done. So you can see that your stiffness matrix and also the fixed end reaction vector are different from the former tools because of the degree of freedom number 7. Alright, now members are all in there, fixed end reactions are all in there, springs are in there already. The only thing that we don't have in the system of equation is the augmented equation. How many augmented equation are we gonna have in this problem? So we take a look. U1 is equals to 0, U2 0, U3 0, U9 0, U11 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equation that describe the fixity, the support fixity, 5 additional row and column, and one more equation that takes care of the hinge. So at the hinge, the condition is that U5 is equal to U7. And then you are going to have the force that is applied to 5 and 7 to be identical. So you have the hinge. If you take a cut at the hinge, right, the degree of freedom, you will have the one acting to the degree of freedom to F5, which is on the opposite direction of the force that is acting on the F7 force equation, right? I should draw that, then you get what I mean. So this equation, I need to add I need to add the row and column. So we have 5, right? 5 supports and one more hinge to connect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Insert. This side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everything in here should be 0. Also here, pre-zero it. And over here, we are going to pre-zero as well. So, oops. Let let me move things into the right place. I'll take the fixed end reaction from here, move to there. I don't think I don't have to write down the system stiffness matrix. Okay, I'll put one more insert to the right. Okay. So these are additional rows. I think I should highlight it. Matrix gets quite big. Okay. Quite a number in here. Okay. And this side I will put the U1 up to U14, and then you will have a new sets of good friend in there. Okay, so first of all, we have the additional equation that enforce U1 equals to 0 or minus U1 equals to 0. It works exactly the same way. Minus U1 equals to minus 0 on the other side. Okay, work, right? This has to be multiplied by L. U1 is the displacement. Second one is U2. You don't have multiplied by L. Third one is U3, U9, and U11. So U3 minus 1 should be in red now. U9, which is here, and 11 minus 1. Don't forget U2, which is also minus 1. Okay, U1 is enforced. U1 multiplied by this equals to this side, which is 0. Okay, U2 is equals to 0, U3 0, U9 0, U11 0. That means this inside here well, over here actually you have I should have listed there. One second, let me see how to multiply. This will end up with EI over L. Oh no, EI over L multiply this. This is equal to, center it. I need to add something in here. Add more column. Since you have degree of freedom number 1, 2, 3, 9, 11, they are all supports. So we have reaction. So we have reaction 1, reaction 2, reaction 3. We have reaction number 9 and reaction number 11. Other degree of freedom, we have 0, okay. So this could be in the same unit like this. This is the external force that is applied. This is a fixed end reaction you have. Well, you will see the difference. We never do this. When we work on the penalty method, you don't have that external force vector like this, because the external force in your penalty method is taken care of by the spring. Penalty spring produce that external force, so it's actually there inside your equation already. You don't have to list it out precisely as an external force. It is some part in your stiffness matrix. For row and column elimination, since you eliminate these columns and these rows, you don't need to think about it because it's not there in your equation. But when you do Lagrange multiplier, as you are not taking out these equations, it will be there, it will remain there, and it is not addressed by any spring like penalty. So we need to list them out precisely as R, reaction, which is unknown. Okay. I think you got to go back and, well, replay this video a couple times if there is any point that is not so clear to you. But I like you to see the difference between all these three methods, because many times you guys like mix up in the former batches. They mix up, like, they don't list out the R when they work on the Lagrange multiplier technique. Something like that could happen. All right, 3 equation that controls your 5 equation that controls your displacements, and then you have this thing. So R1 is the alien for you because R1 is unknown. You don't want to keep the unknown on the left hand side. If you want to clean it out from here, so I will copy this one and show you the next step. Is anything changed? okay, I need to keep the source formatting and number, so number come down nicely. Alright, okay, so this will be cleaned out. You don't want unknown there, you clean them out. That means you push the R1 to the right hand side of this equation. Now it is on the left, you push it on the right, R1 will be a part of this family. What is it? And you push it here, -1 will be there, right? R1 move from the left to the right hand side, then R1 is on the right hand side, it is minus R1. Same, next equation, equation number 2, you push the R2 to the right hand side, so you have R2, there you have R3, you have R9, yes, and R11. So R2 -1, R3, and then R9 is here, R11 is here. Okay, nice and symmetry, right, with this. The last equation, what we need to talk about, we have not talked about this yet. This external force applied at these 2 degrees of freedom. Well, first of all, we want to say that U5 is equal to U7, okay, or U5 add up with U7 and it is equal to 0. So it has to be on this row. The 0 on that side we don't care. It is in the length scale anyway, to make it precise. 5 minus 7 is equal to 0. Or vice versa, if you want to say -5 plus U7 is equal to 0, doesn't really matter, gives you the same. But the point is that let's make this equation, let's make the entries on the column, the last column, be consistent with the last row, so the matrix is symmetry. Well, if you just use Excel, well, whether or not it is symmetric, not the problem. But if you use some special solver, equation solver, then you will enjoy the benefit of the symmetric condition. So now, what happened in there? Actually, we didn't list out the 2 things. It is the hinge force. So I named it H7 maybe. The thing is that I list the H7 because I already make that last column my +1 and -1, it will be symmetry with this one, so +1 and -1. You will understand why. I just look at this ahead of you a little bit. Hinge force that is acting to the degree of freedom number 5 must be identical to hinge force, that is acting on degree of freedom number 7 in magnitude, but the direction is opposite. Make sense? Huh? At the hinge, you cannot say that you don't have internal force, because internal force to the degree of freedom 5 is actually coming from the internal force, the reaction force from degree of freedom number 7. So you can say H5 there, fine, but basically H5 and H7 are identical. You cannot come up with 2 additional unknown. All right, so you have 1 additional unknown, and then you can say something about the relationship between 5 and 7, like so. So you put here minus H7, then you have the plus H7 here. That looks like the H7 be something like an unknown, additional unknown you have. So over here, as you move the minus H7 from the left hand side to the right hand side, it turns out to be plus 1 there. And you have plus H7 on the left hand side, you move here, you have minus H7. Right now, your equation address the essential boundary conditions and also address the hinge, the conditions that brings the U5 and U7 together. So we are ready, as H5, H7 are also moved to the other side already. We are very ready to perform, to solve this equation. So inverse of this with this every time I hit enter for the solution, kind of exciting. what do I end up with? Please be the same, exactly the same as the 2 solutions we had before. Otherwise something wrong and I don't want to find it out. Okay, does it make any sense to you? One, 2, 3, 11, 9. Support. Okay, makes sense. Perfect. Maybe we can get some friends from penalty method and leave it just there side by side. Pop. Is it lat, right? Yeah. Maybe stagger a little bit. Oh, I didn't bring this up. Okay. 0. Perfect, 0. Why? Because we add equations saying that U1 has to be 0. So if you solve and you don't get 0, you violate the mathematics. You solve the equation and one of the equation is the condition that say U1 is equal to 0. And then you solve and you don't get 0. Okay, something is totally wrong happen. Alright, so okay, and this one we don't have the U7, so right, from penalty method we don't include the U7 in the equation, so I need to move it down here. So line by line you get, is it 7? Yeah, because 7 and you can see 7 and 5 are identical. That's what the condition said. Other things are identical, exactly the same for all, right? So this is good. Okay, we are relieved now. What we have as a bonus from for the Lagrange multiplier technique, you have all of these reactions. So why don't we just take a look here and maybe copy this reaction and put there side by side. Beautiful, right? Well, I think it is a good impression to see when the mathematics work, to see when physics and mechanics work. You get everything so satisfactory. Now R2, basically all of these absorb something. You see the 17, what is it? Some sort of switching? Is there any switch penalty? I didn't include this. 1, 2, 3, and then what? 9 and 11. We don't need the 13, right? Sorry. So okay, all right. So these are identical. Good to see this, right? Well, this hinge force you don't have from other solution, but you can get from this one. Beautiful. Save. I'll be uploading this file on the cloud, on the Google Drive. Well, for now, I think we can migrate to the new link, because in that new link, it is actually associated with my AIT Gmail. And you know, the video is very large. If I upload on my personal email, on my personal Google Drive, which is 100 gigabytes already, but 100 gigabytes, I have to pay the fee every year, and I cannot stuff all the video in my personal drive. Then I put on the AT drive, and it said unlimited storage. Okay, I love that. So I'll migrate everything to there. You have all the files, video, Excel, PDF uploaded over there, right? You can come back and see this one. The best thing is to try to do it by yourself without seeing the video. If you see the video and you click and type and do things by following my instruction in the video, your brain doesn't really function. It doesn't think, right? So let your brain think. You learn this course, maybe if you want, you watch it another time, and in order to understand how the workflow, the process goes, and then you do it by yourself. Try to put the logic in there, try to link the knowledge you have and make the solution by yourself, not memorizing the solution. Okay, I'm not asking you to memorize everything. Memorizing is the worst thing to do. Understand what happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and try to solve the problem by yourself, right? Okay, so I will finish this video over here. I'll upload everything, and then we see you again next class. I will pick up from this video another time. We need to find reaction forces and other unknown things from other techniques. If you don't use Lagrange multiplier, you still need to work on the reaction calculations in row and column elimination. Okay, so we'll pick up from this point in the next class.